Welcome to our RIA conversation. My name is John Green. Also with me is my co-host Amber Blumey, as well as your executive director of the RIA, Don McCarthy. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about all things preparing to launch. Whether you are just graduating now, first of all, congratulations, or maybe you've just been in the workforce a year or two. There are a lot of things as you leave school and you start your career, your next phase in life, that you get questions on. We're going to dive into a couple of those as we go through here this conversation today. But before we do that, I want to have Don come on and just share a little bit about RAA and what the goals are for this year. Good afternoon, Don.
Thank you, John. Yes, my name is Dawn McCarthy, again, Executive Director of the Rensselaer Alumni Association. And the Rensselaer Alumni Association is your go-to spot, as well as the Office of Alumni Engagement at RPI, for all things going forward. Our mission is to foster lifelong connections among alumni and the Institute by cultivating a vibrant and engaged community that invests in the RPI of tomorrow. There's a couple really important things there. We like to connect, we like to cultivate, and we like to invest. So it's doing all of those, not only with the Institute, but with you as alumni and our newest alumni, especially. So, wherever you are, we are here for you, and we have great partners in that process, like AMBA. So, with that, I'll turn it back over to you, John.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that. I love the investment aspect of it. Just because you got a degree doesn't mean that the investment doesn't continue to go on. So thank you very much for sharing, Don. Real briefly, my name is John Green. I work with AMBA. Amber and I both work with AMBA. We partner with alumni associations like RAA all across the country to help provide valuable information as well as benefits that you receive by being a member of the Alumni Association. I'm going to move a little bit into dad mode from time to time in this conversation today. I think I have that right. I've helped put three kids through college, a couple of in-law kids as well. And so these are questions that have bubbled up to me as they launched their careers this past few years. And so you're going to see some things in here that may hit a little closer to home, some that you may have already accomplished. We do absolutely want to be able to address these as we roll through here today because everyone has questions. You're going to have questions as you leave college as to what's next, when you start your first job, you get your first paycheck, even as you're looking to move to another job within your career. We're going to talk about how you take care of your stuff and your money and how you protect that. We're going to dive in a little bit into your paycheck and then kind of give a hierarchy of what I would consider your most important benefits. So that when you're sitting down and either deciding for a job offer that you have, you're going through your first benefit enrollment, or you're looking to change jobs, you can understand what's important to you because what's important to you now may change as you age. But we want to get you off on a right foundation. And as Don mentioned, this is part of the investment that RAA makes in you. And we want to make sure that you've got those questions answered for you as well. Now, you're going to be asked questions by family members, by friends, whatever, especially this time of year. Where are you going to live? What are you going to do? You know, what kind of job do you have? What's the next step? And probably nobody's asked you any of that except 4 years ago whenever you graduated high school. So now you're going to get these questions all over again. And then maybe someone in your family, your parents or whatever, when are you getting off my payroll? When are you going to get your own benefits? And then, do you have student loan debt, big expenses, things like that, stuff that people are very well meaning. They're going to be asking you these questions. So you need to have answers for them, but you need to answer those for yourself so that you know what's going on out there because the questions are well-meaning. On the other hand, you may have questions as well. Questions back to your parents. How long are you going to keep me on your benefit plan? What's there legally? If I have access to benefits, can I still stay with yours? The type of plans, things like that. When do I need to get what insurance and what type of insurance and all those kind of things? All these things change depending upon your situation. What expenses are you still going to pay for? I can tell you as a parent of three, that last one getting off the payroll was great, but knowing what expenses are going to be paid for helped us budget, but also helped you budget that as well. And then the question that my kids asked, Dad, what did you do? And boy, you ask that question to a parent or someone that you're close to, be ready. They're going to start to unload on you and tell you what they wish they would have known, what they should have done, all these kind of things. And we're going to kind of walk you through that. But we're going to walk you through it from the perspective of getting started first and then not say lesser priorities, but maybe things that can wait just a few minutes. So let's talk about that as we roll through here. Now, most of you, whether you lived in a dorm, you probably had a little different lifestyle, but if you had to go out and get an apartment, you've kind of walked through some of the renters aspect of this to start with. When I say renters aspect, meaning renters insurance, we want to talk about finding your first place and really more importantly, protecting your stuff. You may not have a lot of stuff now, but you start to add up over a time period. But more importantly, protecting your paycheck. And that's what renter's insurance does for you. Renter's insurance helps protect you and your belongings while you are renting, whether you're renting a house, whether you're renting an apartment, whether you're renting a room in a multi-room apartment complex, something like that. The reason why it's very important and very important for you as a tenant is because not only does it help cover your personal belongings, your electronics, your computer, any furniture, any clothes, any personal items that you have, those things are pretty common. Apartment catches on fire, somebody comes in and steals it, those kind of things. That's not uncommon to have coverage for that. But really, what you're looking for in the world of renter's insurance is what is called liability coverage. Renter's insurance is relatively cheap, but you want to look at liability coverage if someone is injured where you're renting, or if you do something that causes damage to other people's apartments. Say for whatever reason, you put on something to cook and you forget about it, fall asleep, and it catches fire and burns the apartment complex, things like that. Or if somebody comes over, they may trip and fall, get hurt, something like that, and they could sue. And most people say, well, my friends would never sue you. I've been in the insurance business for 37 years. Friends never sue, but their lawyers do all day long. So, liability coverage is the biggest component of renter's insurance that you want to make sure that you watch out for. The other thing it can do for you is if somebody does have a fire in the apartment or something happens, water damage, something of that from a storm, something of that nature, it can also provide you a temporary living coverage, meaning it can help displace you or put you in another apartment somewhere and provide for that while you're still paying your rent as well. So we want to walk through this a little bit more um, because most people don't realize that just because you have an apartment, that the landlord's policies doesn't cover you. Oftentimes, too often we see, well, I thought my landlord who owned the house or who owned the apartment complex, they took care of these things. Again, if you don't have renter's insurance, you're going to pay out of pocket if something happens to your stuff, so to speak. And also, having a renter's insurance policy protects you if you go on vacation. If you're off going back to visit your family or go over to Europe, something like that, and something gets stolen, your laptop gets stolen, your phone, things of that nature. Some of those things can be covered as well by having a renter's insurance policy there. Again, we talked about those common situations, a fire, a theft, water damage, things like that that happen in your apartment. But more importantly, we're talking about protecting your income. Because if you are involved in a lawsuit because someone came over to your house and tripped and fell and got hurt, or somebody, or you happen to catch fire to the apartment, they may see that you don't have any money now, but they could put a judgment against you and you have to pay money for years. Again, that's what renter's insurance does for you. So when you're looking for renter's insurance, just because the landlord says you need it, here's the minimum requirements, think a little bit larger than that. Think I want to get more liability coverage simply because it's relatively inexpensive, but it is just a simple way to help you feel more secure where you live. It's not going to cost a lot of money. There are a wide variety of companies that are out there as well. There's also one that is available through your alumni association that can save you money as well, give you discounts for being an alumni. So again, it allows you to take care of those things and protect you and give you peace of mind of your stuff as well as your earning potential in the future as well. All right. You got your first job, you got your first place, now you're going to get your first paycheck. You're going to see all these things, and it's always great to get that first check with a comma in it. Lots of fun stuff there. You start to see different deductions and different things within your paycheck. All of these have different meanings. Some of these come out prior to taxation, some of these come out after taxation. As a result, the benefits could be taxable, could not be taxable, things like that. All of these things vary in how your company pays for them, if they offer them, if they give a contribution towards them. So let's kind of walk through maybe a little bit of understanding each one of these and what makes them more important than others and what you need to think about. And I'll slip in a little data advice here as we go through this as well. So really to me, whenever you take your first job or if you're a year or two into your career and you're looking for something else, this is kind of the pecking order, in my opinion, that is most important. First and foremost is disability insurance. Most likely, if you're working for a small employer to a large employer, the disability coverage is either very low cost or it's free to you. What disability insurance does is it pays you a percentage of your salary for as long as you're disabled up until age 65. If you have a disability where you get hurt, whether it's on the job, off the job, it doesn't matter, and you're going to be out of work and cannot perform functions where you can get back to what your job description requires, it can pay you a percentage of your salary. Sometimes it's 60%, sometimes it's 70% of your salary every year up until age 65. Now, what you want to look at from a disability insurance policy is how many days you're going to have to cover of your salary, meaning how many days before it kicks in does that coverage. Some plans have a 90-day waiting period. Some plans have a 180-day waiting period that basically says you have to be disabled for 3 months or 6 months before the policy kicks in. As a result, some companies will offer you a short-term disability policy. I'm a 100% fan of a long-term disability policy. You need to have that at work. If it's offered for free, you sign up for that automatically. No questions about it because it ensures your earning potential. It ensures your paycheck. That's the most important thing when you're first starting out. You need to look at that short-term disability policy. You need to understand what it covers. Sometimes you can buy it with a 2-week waiting period, a 30-day waiting period. It may or may not be worth the cost of it, but you have to understand for your own personal situation, does this, do I have the income to cover missing 2 paychecks? Can I afford to miss 3 paychecks? Things like that. That's your own personal situation. Again, determine how much you have in illness time, PTO, whatever that is, and then look at it and say, well, I think I can cover this gap. I only need the long-term disability plan. So again, with disability, number one on your list. Then you want to jump down to the next two that are very important in my opinion. One is medical coverage. The other is what you start to save. And we'll break these down in just a moment a little bit more. With medical coverage, this usually has a cost. Some companies pay for most of this for the employee only. And then if you're married, have a dependent, something like that, it may cost you more for their coverage. But medical insurance is relatively, is very important, but it can be relatively inexpensive in your job. It's important. We'll break it down in just a moment. Then we're talking about savings. We're talking about pre-tax and after-tax savings. I'm going to talk about which is most important, how to do these, how to take the free money that's on the table, things like that. Then we'll jump in and talk about life insurance, dental, and vision. This is my dad advice. If you're looking at your coverages, start with your disability first, take what the company has, and then look at medical savings. We'll talk about ages, things like that, and what you should do next. So let's jump into that. Again, as we talked about with disability, it's usually free or very low cost. About 25% of us are going to have some sort of a disability in the lifetime of our career. Some of these plans, and when I say this with the term disability, I'm going to put air quotes on there, some of these plans also include pregnancy and delivery under disability coverage. So again, you want to look at that and make sure that could be a benefit to you as well. And as I mentioned, it really protects your income overall. Now let's talk about medical plans. You may be super excited you've got a medical plan. You need to dig deep into that medical plan and look at three big things. What are your deductibles, your co-insurance clauses, and your out-of-pocket maximums? The way that medical insurance works these days, so many of it's tied to a network. Much of it has coverage if you go in the network, but if you go out of the network, there's no coverage or much higher cost. Your deductibles are the amount that you will have to pay prior to receiving any coverage. Co-insurance means what percentage you're going to have to pay after your deductible. So the deductible could be $500. You could see high deductible plans now that run anywhere up to $5,000. And so that means you've got to come out of your pocket $5,000 first before the first dollar of coverage kicks in. Then it will say you now have 80% coverage and you're responsible for 20%. The plan means it's going to cover 80% of your costs. You're responsible for 20% up until an out-of-pocket maximum is hit. Some of these out-of-pocket maximums, or OOPS is what they're called, these out-of-pocket maximums, they will oftentimes be in the tens of thousands of dollars. So again, understand your plan. Just because you have medical insurance does not always mean that you've got full coverage. And this is that conversation that you can have as well. But I want you not to get scared about this. The fact that your company offers medical insurance, the fact that they may pay for most of it or all of it for employee only, those are benefits. Those are absolute benefits. The deduction comes out of your paycheck pre-tax. The benefits are not taxable on the back end as well. Very important out there. Have this. But depending upon your age, you need to understand that you may not have to take insurance right now if you're on a parent's plan. So, as I mentioned, 5 things. Understand your insurance coverage upside and down. Understand your perks and incentives in here. This is very important because you may have a gym membership now, or you may have a certain place that you like to work out, or certain online health trackers, things like that, apps that you have that you're paying for. Your plan may have some of these perks built inside of them. That can save you money in the long run. Pay for a gym membership. It'll give you all sorts of athletic gear and things to work out with if you do their annual questionnaire and follow a track, things like that. Sometimes they'll give you food money, different things like that, just rewards and incentives for maintaining contact with them. As I mentioned, Affordable Care Act allows you to stay on your parents' plan until age 26. That may be less expensive and keep you with doctors that you're familiar with, but if you've moved far away, it may not be as good on your parents' plan that way. That's something you could have that discussion with and have that conversation because that could save you some money to start with if you have to pay a high amount for your work plan. When you do have need for care, shop around for your services. Even if you have a network, you would be surprised how many doctors charge different things for different services. Also, find out if those services, say you have to go to a doctor and the doctor says you need to go get an x-ray done or an MRI or a scan, find out and make sure that those scans are in network. They're not sending you to somewhere out of network that could cost you a lot of money that way as well. Also, you may want to call your insurance company because your doctor may refer you to the hospital that he's a part of that's still in the network, but that scan may cost $5,000 and the insurance company says you can go across the street for 1,000 and it saves you money in the long run. So again, check on that. And I know you're young, but don't skip on preventative care. Any type of shots that you need, flu season, going to get your checkup, your physicals are usually covered for free. Take advantage of those things. Ward off anything to start with. So 5 tips to be a better healthcare consumer. You'll save yourself a lot of money in the long run and make sure that you get the most out of the benefit that your company is providing for you as well. All right, now let's talk about savings. When you're young, you're thinking, well, I've got some college debt. I don't have a whole lot of money here. I'm just scraping by, all these kind of things like that. I can tell you, and again, this is here I'm going into dad mode, Amber, so back me off if I need to. Um, Save something to start. My personal opinion is, and this is not individual financial advice because I do not know your situation. My personal opinion is take advantage of your health savings account if you have one through your company. If you have a high deductible health plan, and they'll be very clear, they'll spell it out and say this is a high deductible plan that's eligible for an HSA. Some companies may provide a small contribution towards that. You can also contribute money towards it. An HSA plan is the only type of savings plan that is triple tax free, meaning the money comes out of your paycheck before it's taxed. The growth in it is, the money comes out of the paycheck before it's taxed, so there's no tax there. All of your growth is not taxed in this plan. And I'm not telling you put it in the stock market and try to go nuts with it, but if you put it into a money market account or some way that saves you, gets you some interest, you've got that. That's tax free. And then you can use it for any medical care that you need anytime in your life, totally tax free as well. So again, it takes care of a lot of different things there. You'd be surprised at how quickly this can grow. And it is portable. What that means is that whenever you leave your company, if you've got money in the health savings account, you can take that with you. You can do it on your own. If you go out and work your own job, you can contribute to it as well. All of those things in the HSA are extremely portable and very easy to use. This is becoming more and more popular. If your company has one, take advantage of it, put a little extra money in there. You're going to thank yourself in the long run. Again, you can use it 20 years from now, whenever you want to use it. Now, when it comes to your retirement savings, and you're thinking, well, I'm not retiring in the next 40 years, or I may never retire. That's okay. You're going to think that now. At some point in your life, you're going to want to retire. Take advantage of what the company offers you for free. Most companies will offer you a company match of some sort. It may be 100% on the first couple of percent that you take out before tax. Some of it could be 50%, whatever. You're never going to get a better return on your investment than through your company match. So take it out, have it taken out of your paycheck before you even see it. Start small, grow it over the time period, things like that. Take advantage of the Roth 401k versus a regular 401k. Now, here's two different things. A 401k is taken out pre-tax, meaning it's going to come out of your paycheck pre-tax. It will grow tax-free until you have to take it out, or whatever age you want to, or when the government says you've got to take it out. All of that grows. That's great. The Roth 401k works the same way, except it's after tax. It's after tax and it grows tax free. And if you wait until after a certain age, you don't have to pay any taxes on it whatsoever on that growth. That's really a nice deal, especially when you're younger. If your company offers a company match on the Roth 401k, start there first. If they only offer it on the 401k that comes out pre-tax, start there first. Only contribute up to what the company does and then put the rest in your Roth 401k. You'll be better off in the long run for it. The first 4 or 5 years won't look a lot of fun, but after that, that ball starts rolling, that snowball starts growing, and it starts to get pretty impressive. And you're very thankful that you did it when you were much younger. Now, the big question is again, is if you move from job to job, and that's okay, is do you leave that with your company and let it stay there, or do you take it and put it in with your new company? Do you roll it to an individual account, something like that? That again is up to you, depending upon if your company charges fees and things like that. But again, my recommendation to you, again, this is not individual tax advice by any stretch. Get your HSA going, your health savings account, and then look at where your company match is and determine if it's in a 401k pre-tax or if you have the ability to put in a 401k Roth after tax plan. Those kind of things are very important to start out small that way. All right, let's talk about life insurance. Now you're thinking, why life insurance? I'm young, nothing's going to happen to me. That's great. Okay, super great. Oftentimes the company is going to provide you life insurance at work. Life insurance at work is usually multiples of your salary. It could be one times your salary or a flat $50,000, could be up to four times your salary, whatever it is. Then sometimes you're able to buy additional life insurance on top of that. Personally, for me, I think what you have at work, unless you've got significant outstanding debts or student loans, that should be enough to pay any expenses in your untimely death. I know we don't like to talk about those things that your family could pay off, final expenses, things of that nature. If you have student loan debt of any size, please make sure you have life insurance that covers that. It's the only debt out there that does not discharge upon death. Somebody is always responsible for that in your family, even after you're gone out there. The one thing I want you to think about, though, is because you're young, you've got to look at, do I want life insurance? Do I want to own it or do I want to rent it? And who pays for that? If you get your life insurance from the company that you work for, you are renting your life insurance, which basically means that if you change companies, then that life insurance does not go with you. If you own your life insurance, meaning you've taken out a separate life insurance policy, then you change companies, you take your policy wherever you go, no matter what your health conditions are. because as we get older, sometimes health conditions come up that make us not eligible for life insurance. And then it's too late because we didn't own something. So again, think about whether you own it or rent it out there. And most importantly, whenever you are signing up for your benefits at work, they're going to ask you, who is your beneficiary for your life insurance policy and who is your beneficiary for your retirement fund, your 401k, your HSA, those kind of things. It's very important that you put down on your beneficiaries who you want that money to go to. Be very specific and check this at least once a year. And the reason I say this is because as you're starting out in your career, it may be your parents that you are beneficiaries. Along the way, you may get married. Along the way, you may get out of marriage. You may have kids. You may have two kids, and then 6 to 8 years later, you have a third kid. As long as I've been in this business, I have taken out checks to ex-spouses because they still stayed on the life insurance policy, even though somebody got married to a new spouse. That's a lot of fun to have that conversation. I have sat around a table with the three kids of a mother that passed away, and two of them get a life insurance check because mom never got to add that third child on the policy. Please, 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 when you're signing up for your benefits, make sure you put your beneficiaries down and every open enrollment, check that again. Double check and make sure it fits who you want that money to go to if something did happen to you. And as we kind of wrap this up, you're going to find that you get so excited about your new job that you forget about all the stuff that's to come. And that's okay. You want to protect your income and your earning power. That's why that renter's insurance, that disability insurance, those things are important now. But constantly understand your company benefits. Your HR department, they may send you an email and tell you, look through this book, and you're flipping through, you're just checking a box, you're taking default, all those kind of things out there. Be a student of that. Take advantage of it. The benefits are part of your compensation. If you work them right, you're going to maximize your compensation overall, and that's extremely important. When it comes to savings, start small, but start now. Don't wait. I think some companies now are required to automatically enroll you in their 401k plans, those type of things. Start small, maybe automate it. Every year you get maybe a raise or something like that, kick it up another percent. All of those things are going to be smart choices along the way so that when you start to navigate your life, and it will move quickly, you go through here, you're going to have a good plan to handle those bumps along the way. So whenever marriage comes, kids come along, college for the kids, and then an empty nest, those kind of things, and then retirement that will happen to you quicker than you think it will. You've done some things early on in your life that will make a world of difference. And so that's really the point of this conversation today, just make sure that you be aware of those things that are out there, maybe hopefully put some of those in order for you so that whenever you do sit down at your job, your first job, and you're going through your benefits, understanding what's important out there. Now, Amber, I'm going to let you unmute here and kind of tell us if they've got questions, where's the best place to start for some of this? And then we'll wrap it up the
Yeah,
conversation and let Don have the last word out there.
absolutely. Well, thank you, John, for both the practical and technical advice. I appreciate the dad mode. We need that every once in a while. All of the info, like you said, is information. Everybody's circumstance is going to be a little bit different and specialized, and there are a lot of resources out there to help them, especially in today's information-rich environment. Um, the Rensselaer Alumni Association does so much work to support every alumni at every age and stage. You can reach out on the Rensselaer Alumni Association website. They have a link to all of the offerings, the different insurance offerings provided with the partnership of AMBA. That page is here on the screen. But more importantly than all of those solutions, know that Rensselaer Alumni Association is really serving you every day. Like Don said on the front end, investing in your community all of the time. It's a wonderful alumni board. I work with over 71 alumni associations, and Rensselaer simply rises to the top. And you should be really proud to be so served by the community. The everyone on the board and the whole community is so great. I definitely want to throw in a little bit of mom advice and join that alumni network, join an alumni chapter near you. You will have people in the room on day one after just knowing your name that are cheering for you and supporting your continued success. And that's one of the reasons that you chose RPI. So stay with that choice, and that community will help guide you and move you through all sorts of stages and challenges, and definitely career changes and all of it. So just really excited for everybody in this transition of your life to maximize those contacts and the network and all that our AA has to invest and support you in your future.
Thank you, Amber. Appreciate that. Don,
Yeah.
I'll let you have the last word today.
Wonderful. Thank you, John, for the fatherly advice, and Amber for your motherly advice as well. Yes, for those of you out there watching this, if you have any questions about the plan, you can reach out through that website shown on your screen, or specifically, if you'd rather email, please email at raa@rpi.edu, and we look forward to helping you connect, cultivate, and invest in your future.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Jessica. And Amber, thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care, everyone.